Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, TheLaval, also known as the Power Tool Duelist, back for you with another video. And today, as slightly touched on Tuesday, I'm bringing you guys Volcanics. Why Volcanics out of all decks? First of all, I have multiple things I'm currently testing with, but that are just not working to the degree I want them to work. Mainly Evil Swarms and Mecha Phantom Beasts. So yeah, let's cut the chatter right there and get into Volcanics. Starting off, the main deck are 3 Volcanic Doomfire. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by sending a face-up Tri-Blaze Accelerator you control to the graveyard, and during your opponent's battle phase, your opponent has to attack this card with every attack position monster he controls, and if this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. Which sets up 2 precedents for the deck. This is a burn-heavy, nuke your opponent's board deck that just couldn't give a damn about your opponent's board presence, because this deck just loves wiping boards, burning for a lot of damage, and it's a lot of fun. Then something that is not a volcanic card, but I found while looking for pyro or fire related cards, that is Cataclysmic Scorching Sunburner. If a face-up fire monster or fire monsters you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack of one of those destroyed fire monsters in the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Cataclysmic Scorching Sunburner once per turn. Really fun card. Has a summoning condition similar to Desperado Barrel Dragon, and I already think that's a hilarious card. And also fits in rather nicely with the deck. It's also a 2600 body, so it's not that small, but also not that big. And as mentioned, it fits really nicely into the deck, because the extra burn damage you sometimes apply of this if your opponent blows up your rockets, your Doomfires, or your Royal Firestorm guards are rather neat, and something that definitely can come in handy when you think about that each time you scattershot your opponent, you're burning him for 1500. You do have Doomfire that is able to nuke some boards. You sometimes are able to swing in directly with a rocket or Royal Firestorm guards, and you still have the volcanic counters for the graveyard. So you do have some ways to definitely chip at your opponent's life points and take them away rather quickly. But yeah, then we play 3 volcanic rockets on summon. This adds a Blaze Accelerator card from deck to hand, from deck or graveyard to hand. Excuse me. Yeah. Probably your best normal summon. If you see this turn 1, grab a Blaze Accelerator, reload it, and you're good to go. So yeah. Then something that could as well be a volcanic card, Royal Firestorm Guards. On normal summon, target 4 Pyro type monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 4 into the deck, draw 2 cards. A bit more specific, Pot of Avarice, I guess. Also a rather neat body, because it enables you some rank 4 plays with Volcanic Rocket, and definitely gives you that. But the recursion with this is rather nice, because you want to use this as much as possible to recur your scatter shots and be able to regek your opponent each turn. Then I do play 2 volcanic counters. When you take battle damage while this card is in your graveyard, banish it from your graveyard. Then if there is a fire monster other than volcanic counter in your grave, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of battle damage you took. Need this card for your Blaze Accelerator reloads and to get into more cards from your deck. Also something you can definitely send when you get into the later stages of the duel and your graveyard is already packed with fire monsters. And something that, if your opponent is not careful, can definitely just be there menacingly and stop him from taking the game. Then, the main man of the show, Volcanic Scattershot. Card's probably almost as old as me. I think came out in 2006, so not as close, but we're getting there. If this card is sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Okay, And if this card is sent to the graveyard by the effect of a Blaze Accelerator card, you can send 2 Volcanic Scattershots from your hand and or deck to the graveyard and destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Oh, well, that escalated quickly. Scattershot is of course the main man of the show. You wanna mill Scattershot either of your on-field Blaze Accelerators or by the graveyard effect of Blaze Accelerator Reload to just, during your opponent's turn or during your turn, nuke your opponent's board, use the ways of recovery you have. I do run 3 Royal Firestorm Guards and the 2 Pot of Avarice, as you can see, to get this out, or just to make that happen as often as possible, because you are just trying to keep your opponent off board presence and just take away his life points. 3 Foolish Burial Goods to rather consistently get Blaze Accelerator Reload in the graveyard. Sometimes this is dead in the hand, which is why I'll be talking about Ultimate Providence a bit later. But in general you want to see this. Dump a Blaze Accelerator Reload, because Blaze Accelerator Reload's graveyard effect lets you also dump from the deck, which is kinda neat. 2 Pot of Avarice just to bolster out the recursion a bit. The 3 Royal Firestorm Guards can get a bit bricky. But yeah, then just the 1 Foolish Burial to send maybe a counter or something else to the grave that you might wanna have there. I do run the 1 Monster Reborn, maybe to get a rocket back, or just one of the Cataclysmic boys, or maybe some of the extra deck stuff if you decide to go that route. 3 Pot of Duality, you do not special summon that much in this deck, so 3 Pot of Duality definitely is a good way to get further into your deck and keep it going that way. I do run the original once each. I do run 1 Blaze Accelerator and a Tri-Blaze Accelerator. Blaze Accelerator being target a monster your opponent controls, send a Pyro-type monster with 500 or less attack from your hand to the grave, and if you do destroy the target, cannot declare an attack during the turn you activate that effect. And Tri-Blaze Accelerator is basically the same, with the added restrictions of you can only place this on the field by sending a face-up Blaze Accelerator from your field to the grave. And you can send a Pyro-type monster from your hand to the graveyard to destroy a monster your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Which means if you send Scattershot off this, you burn your opponent for some 2000, which is quite neat. Then, probably the centerpiece of the deck and the last piece of support this deck has gone in a while, Blaze Accelerator Reload. Continuous trap that on the field becomes a Tri-Blaze Accelerator, which is important when you want to summon Doomfire. During either player's main phase, you can send a Volcanic card from your hand to the grave except Volcanic Eruption, which needs to be there because Volcanic Eruption I think is a Dino related card. And if you do, draw a card. You can only use this effect of Blaze Accelerator Reload once per turn. And during either player's main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send a Volcanic card from your deck to the graveyard except Volcanic Eruption. As mentioned, it's a Dino card, so that needs to be there. Yeah, sending Volcanics to the graveyard. What do you want to send off this? Of course, your Scattershot. Either sending Volcanics from your hand to the grave to draw extra cards, which is probably something where the counters come in play, just so you have something that you can definitely mill off reload, because you not always have a spare rocket in hand that you want to mill. With the graveyard effect, send Scattershot. If you can, send Scattershot. Nuking your opponent's board will always be something that is fun. Maybe not for your opponent, but I think board wipes are kind of hilarious. And something that definitely has fallen out of relevance, sadly. But yeah, you are basically playing Raigeki the deck, and Scattershot definitely can bring your opponent quite some pain if you consistently are able to mill that. Filling out the last spots of the main deck for me are just some generic counter traps, 3 strike, 3 judgment, and just 2 torrential, because the deck does not have enough board clearing potential as it is with Scattershot and triple Doomfire. You can definitely maybe include hand traps here, or just go for, I wouldn't say combo pieces, because I'm struggling to find a combo combo variant of Volcanics, but prove me wrong in the comments. And I think just going with a more control style build is definitely the safer option. Extra deck is entirely what you want. You can make some rank 8s with Doomfire and Cataclysmic Scorching Sunburner. If you wanna run Pyrorex, the Elemental Lord, that is also definitely something you can consider. Let me drop him in the side real quick. Gives you an extra level 8 for just generic rank 8s. Hope Harbinger, Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand, Dingirsu, Photon Lord, any generic rank 8 you can think of. Then just Rocket and Firestorm Guards can sometimes make a rank 4. Think about a Utopia package with the Lightning. Redo is also kinda cool. Tornado Dragon Castle, Diamond Direwolf, any rank 4s your heart desires, maybe Abyss Dweller and all that good stuff. Links, you can run them. The deck probably doesn't make them as consistently as maybe an Xyz or 2. I rather rarely found myself tapping into the extra deck, which is why probably Pot of Extravagance is a rather good inclusion in the deck, because you don't really need your extra deck. You have a lot of firepower already in your main deck, so you can work off that. Then, Ultimate Providence, as mentioned. You sometimes do have maybe a dead Volcanic counter or just a Cataclysmic Scorching Sunburner in your hand, or maybe a Doomfire you can slap on the board, or just your Foolish Burial Goods. You can definitely include Ultimate Providence. I did not, because I didn't want to have like a 2-2-2 counter trap lineup, even though that would probably look great. But if you find yourself in too many situations where you have some dead cards in your hands, maybe a Pot of Duality or just a Tri-Blaze Accelerator or anything, try out Ultimate Providence. I think it's definitely something you can include in this list, and something that can help you keep your opponent off playing. So yeah, that will be it for the profile. I will quickly hop over into the replay section and I'll see you then. So here we are in the replays section. Yeah, dropping the Foolish Burial Goods to mill a reload, summoning the Firestorm Guard because I do have the Sunburner in hand. Drawing Scattershot here is no big deal because I do already have the reload on field, which I let just die to his Linkslayer effect because I wanna see him commit to a board. Because just like with any deck that has the ability to basically quick play Raigeki your opponent, same with Machina, with the Machina 4. It's not Machina Force, it's I'm blanking so hard right now. What is the big Machina's name? I don't have the deck in reach. Of course the Machina Kernel, I think was the OCG name. The one that lets you pop one of your Machinas to nuke your opponent's board, or nuke everything that has less attack than the destroyed Machina. You want to find a sweet spot where you can interrupt your opponent and you basically leave him without play after that. Yes, and that was a double counter victory. I was blanking very hard on the Citadel, Machina Citadel. That's the one. Yeah, that was a double counter victory, milling those two off the reloads to win the game. This one, standard opening. Get a body on board, get your Blaze Accelerator, reload in the grave, which is just what you want to do. If you can do that, you're good to go, because you're able to do this. And if you're able to do this, you basically know how to play Volcanics. Just dropping Scattershot on your opponent is always fun, and definitely something I have been having a lot of fun with, because quick play Raigeki is always great. I do love Machina, so why wouldn't I have fun with this deck, which probably does the same thing in a good bit different. Even though this does not have the same ability of swarming. But this deck is lacking new support, so understandable. But yeah, new support for this deck would definitely be cool. Just maybe new ways to get to your win condition of just scattershotting your opponent into submission. Maybe a archetypal retrain of Royal Firestorm Guards. Those things, which would be rather neat. Dropping the Sunburner here again. negating his place and taking game with the Sunburner, if I did not misclick, because intelligent old me decided to hit main phase 2 instead of attack for game. So yeah, we do have to get rid of this client right here. Yeah, just summoning the rocket that I grabbed off the duality, setting the reload, swinging in, swinging direct, taking game, a turn later. And last but not least, I think, is this the one where, oh, I think there was another one. There is another. So yeah, good setup here. We have 2 reloads. He will have a hard time clearing those. Rocket is probably your best normal summon for going first. I would just drop the reload here, drop the Scattershot, nuke his board. He will lose both buddies. Scattershot will deal the burn damage, and yeah, from there on out, he would just shuffle back one of my Scattershots. How nice of him. Activate the second reload here, which doesn't really matter that much. I will get rid of the counter, get rid of the other Blaze Accelerator reloaded because it's treated as Tri-Blaze. Slap the Doomfire on the board, and I think now you will see a very great interaction that the Edo Pro AI has with Doomfire's effect, because I think they get forced into the battle phase, and if they do, they have to attack Doomfire. Or they, in some way, shape or form, are coded like, oh my god, I have to attack this guy, even if I do not have to enter my battle phase. So yeah, not the smartest guys around, but this deck still is a lot of fun. Definitely try this out with your friends, or just, if you're into that, just online. Raigeki, even though it's an outdated card, still having that on quick play is rather fun. Definitely, as mentioned in the deck portion, I do run these counter traps and torrentials because I do want to get this into a more control heavy variant, which is probably one of the better versions. Probably the best. I don't know. I'm not a Volcanics expert, but maybe some of you guys know better than me. So I will thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, just as always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I hopefully will see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye.